Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Welcome to Baobab Chats, where we sit under the Baobab tree discussing different issues. And tonight we have brought you a different conversation, live in diaspora. Joining me in these conversations, I've got Tendai from Poland, Shelton from Port Elizabeth in South Africa. I've got Ashley from Cape Town in South Africa. I've also got Promise from South Carolina in America. So thank you so much, guys, for coming, and I hope it's gonna be a great show. So today we are discussing about life in diaspora. We all know that each and everyone is away from home. We are in the diaspora, and we are here to discuss the challenges, the happiness, the joys, the sorrows that we face when we are away from home. So, what are the sorrows and the joys that we have faced when we first stepped in these countries that we are living in? I will just go from the top. I'll start with Tendai to just give she must just give us an input on what's going on.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Tendai. I live in Warsaw, Poland. I used to live in South Africa for a few years, 6 years before I moved here. And oh, the joys. I don't know whether it's the joys more or the sorrows more, but well, let's see. Um, the sorrows, you definitely miss home because you are so far away from family, you know. And the second sorrow is not having the food you're used to eating, like missing, your home cooked or your regular diet that you're used to. And for me, the third thing is the cold. Here, the weather is just so terrible. Whenever it's really cold, I'll be saying, "Oh, I just wish I was home." So, yeah, there's much more, but now I'll give others a chance to speak.
Oh, thank you so much, Ashley. You wanna jump in and say your experiences the first time you came to Cape Town or when you came to South Africa?
Yes, it's kind of challenging getting to settling down. And like Tendai said, it gets lonely because you're away from everyone else. But I'm privileged to have more family here, like my sister and her family. So that's the joy of being here. But yes, it's challenging to settle down, researching where you should be, what industry, and stuff like that. It is challenging. And also, we don't have as much opportunities as the locals. So it's different from being home.
Oh yes, yes, yeah. Of course, definitely, we don't have so much opportunities as compared to the locals. And the guy, Promise from America, your experience.
Oh wow, where do I even start, right?
So many starts, yeah. You can start from
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, they always say home is always where the heart is, and when you come in the diaspora, I think the one of the things one of the biggest challenges is just not being so close to home and not being able to connect with family when so many events come, when someone passes away, especially people that are close to you, and you cannot be right there, like we used to. I think for me those were some of the biggest challenges that I faced trying to adjust to life in the diaspora. And I don't know why, but it looks like it's more during the funerals that I would really feel depressed, and for some reason those were times to unite with family and stuff like that. So being pulled away from where you can do those things, for me was, even up to now, it's still very hard to take. The joys is more for me. It's more to do with the reunions. That's where I find more of the joys. um whenever you have family that's supposed to visit, and maybe you haven't seen them in a long time, and when you finally connect with them, for me those are the biggest joys. But also, then you learn to adjust, and now you start to smell the coffee, to smell the roses as you adjust and you realize, you know what,
Yeah.
this is actually a new home. So when you start to settle in, then you start to have joy in some of the little things that come in life, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. That was quite a mouthful there. Shelton, all the way from PE, your experiences, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. My name is Shelton Chiangwa. I am based in Port Elizabeth. And yes, the sorrows of being in the diaspora is that you are far from home. You are not able to attend to issues that are happening back home within family. Maybe that needs your attention, right there. You also miss the community or the hood in which you grew up in, because maybe you want to develop it just like everybody else. But that is the challenge you always face by being in the diaspora. I don't really have a lot of sorrows missing home, because I get to travel home more often, because South Africa is not really far from Zimbabwe. Even though things are readily available here in South Africa, you also miss food back home. That kind of area, or that kind of a setup in your township and all. The joy in the diaspora, really, you don't get to, apart from the load shedding happening in South Africa right now, you know that there is electricity every other time. There is really no shortage of water, to information and communication, because you've got access to Wi-Fi, internet that is fast and clear, opportunities. Really, there are so many opportunities in the diaspora that you can access. There are quite a lot of opportunities in the diaspora, if you know your way through, if you know it. So basically,
Talking about your way through, Shelton.
Things
Can I just, I'm going to cut you off a little bit. Sorry about that.
Because then you find yourself, when you go back home, then you are.
Okay. I was just saying, talking about the how we're living now in diaspora. What are the kind of relationships? I mean, I'll start with Tendai now in Poland. I mean, I understand there's still quite a few people from other countries, for example, from Africa. How are you coping? I mean, in terms of communications, I believe the languages they speak there is quite a little bit different from the English that we know. How are you coping there in Poland tonight?
Okay, so I'll start from the initial days. The initial days I came, it was a nightmare. Nobody could speak English, and I couldn't speak the language. So I had to go around with Google to translate, even in the shop when I was trying
Google
to,
Translate.
get some food and everywhere. I remember my first experience. I wanted to buy, the SIM card for the phone, just to tell my family that, oh, I have arrived. I went to the shop and tried to communicate. So the lady understood that, like, I wanted to buy. Actually, I wanted to buy airtime. I had a SIM card from the airport, but I wanted to buy airtime to load. So she ended up giving me another SIM card when I actually wanted to top up my phone. that is how bad the communication was. But the reality is I was already in this place and I had to adapt. So after some time, it got better. I did language classes, and now I understand I can go to the supermarket, but it was really, really a challenge. As of now, we now have a few Zimbabweans here, so when we can help each other around, and when we need to do some gatherings, we have time to just connect sometime, have a small
Oh yeah,
party, and yeah.
I'm sure you now got some WhatsApp groups, Poland, Africa, Poland/Africa, where you can communicate. Where can I get this meal? Where can I get, maize cobs or something like that? Or where can I get
Exactly.
goat meat, something,
Yeah.
Ashley, how have you found yourself in South Africa, in Cape Town? How have you been? How have you seen the places?
Well, unlike Tendai's situation, here in Cape Town, it's when it comes to relationship wise, it's a bit less challenging because we have a lot of Zimbabweans here. So we have lots of Zimbabwean communities around us at church, in schools, when you're studying, and at work. It's easy to find a lot of Zimbabweans around. But yes, it's still not as the same as home, as being home. But yes, relationships are easier than Tendai's situation. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not the same for Paul. For Promise, sorry, I'm sure it's not the same. I mean, USA is far away from Africa, so it's kind of different and difficult. How have you been, Promise, in terms of the relationships and stuff?
It's I think we all find solace in finding other Zimbabweans around. I think that was the biggest thing for me. Just finding other Zimbabweans around, because I was living in Florida when I came to the United States. Fortunately, though, I mean, when I came, we had a huge community. We had a well knit community of Zimbabweans that were working together because we came with work. So we came as a group. So that provided an immediate little connection, a little hub that we had, and then from there it was now starting to discover. It was almost like a new thing. Whenever somebody met a Zimbabwean, they would have, "Hey guys, I met another Zimbabwean," and da, da, da,
Yeah,
da, 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 and then
yeah.
we'd share the numbers, and then we'd start texting them, and so discovering people around was huge. When I just came to the States in 2000. So yes, it was actually a discovery. Whenever you met a Zimbabwean, you had to make sure everybody knows, and so that you can connect, and we
Yeah.
formed our own web of Zimbabweans around. That was good.
But guys, don't you think it's kind of difficult? I mean, I've seen it in every place, every country. Let's say, for example, us Africans or Zimbabweans, we go to a place and then we try to find our people instead of adapting to those people where we are living. I mean, how is it so? I don't know why we always want to, to find our people first before we try to adapt to the people where we are living in.
um I would say that if you like, there's like, if you have some people like Africans in your community, then it becomes better, regardless of where you are coming from. I mean, the first time I heard that there's an African shop here in Poland, because there's only one. I think now there are two. Um, it was like, oh, a big relief for me. Like, okay, I can now have at least. It's easier to just adopt to Africans, but as well other foreigners. This is what I see in my situation, because most of my friends, because we came to study, most of my friends will be other also foreign students from Ukraine, Azerbaijan, from all over the world. So what you were saying is actually a point, that sometimes we want to stick to only Africans, but you feel the process becomes quicker to adopt when you open yourself up to other people, and just try to say, okay. And for me now, these people, like my best friends are from Ukraine and Azerbaijan, from other countries. I would never imagine that I can actually connect to those people. So I think
Yeah.
that's also an important thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Ashley?
Yes. For me, I don't tend to, but I understand why people are like that, looking
Yeah.
for Zimbabweans or Africans, other Africans, because home is home, hey? So when you're far from home, you're trying to, I think it's the familiar language, culture, and everything. I think that's what you'll be trying to get closer to make you feel like you home, but you're not home, home away from home, something like that. But as Tendai said, it's easier to adapt when you open up yourself to other cultures and get to learn about the people around you. It's also good to learn other cultures. It improves your growth as a person. So yeah, it's easier to adjust when you open up
Oh, that's
yourself
good.
to the people
That's
around you.
correct.
Yes.
That's correct. Yeah. Promise. Your take on that?
Yeah, I think
Why
it's
are we? Yeah.
when you come into a new into a new place. I think I think it's just instinct. I mean, instinctively, you come
Yeah.
into a place, and the first thing is to find people that are common. Find areas of commonality, and also sometimes you really want to understand who shares my culture, and and things like that. But then yes, definitely, then you start to grow out of that, and then you start to experience other cultures. My experience was very exciting, because when I came into the United States, and where I was working, we had people from all over the world. Like we were working with people from Kenya, from Botswana, from South Africa, from Europe, from different places. So it actually became very easy to have friendships. Like some of my best friends are from Kenya. Some of my great friends are from Botswana. So we actually formed relationships very, very quickly from a very, very diverse diverse group. So it was good. It was good, I think. But I don't think a lot of people have the same experience, because sometimes you come into an environment where uh, there's no immediate communities or people that you work with that are from different places. So it's difficult to find those people. But I would venture to say the first thing is, soon after you adapt yourself, you really need to start seeking out other cultures. And I learned a lot. I learned that in Kenya there's a language in Kenya which is similar to Shona, because some of the Kenyan guys would be talking and they'll say,
Yeah.
"Hey, Baba," and I'm like,
Wow.
is that?" So then I began to learn that from the Bantu migration, we all had a language that followed the same the same traits. So it was good,
Mm.
just learning more about other people.
Mm. Then comes the issue, when in a foreign land, there is that thing where people from the same continent or people from the same country don't tend to to live well together in terms of relationship, in terms of friendships. There is too much fighting, there is too much gossip, people talking. No, I see Promise, I see Ashley is doing this or she's doing that. Why are we? I mean, this is happening. I mean, we see everything every time on social media, in news, that same people from the same country or people from the same continent, they are killing each other, especially
Yeah.
when it comes to people in a relationship. I mean, have you seen something like that, Shelton? I'll go to Shelton.
All right. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me clearly right now, because I've just changed my device. There is that challenge happening in the diaspora that we see where people coming from the same country do not get along well. The challenge that we face with people in the diaspora and then they are coming from that, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of wanting to outclass and outshine one another. So these are the reasons what that leads to people not getting along well. You're gonna have to try very hard to fit into a community of people that you come from the same country with. It is quite a challenge. These are some of the reasons why we miss home so much, because you find that in a setup.
Okay. Anyone to take over from Shelton? I think this network is getting on him. Tendai, have you experienced something like that in Poland yet, or have you heard something?
No,
People talk,
no,
eh?
People talk, but here it's like I think because we're not a very big community, and also work and other things keep you very, very, very busy. So we don't socialize a lot, and we haven't actually gotten to that point that we are. I like the spirit that is there right now, because what I see is actually people trying to uplift each other. Have you heard where there's a company which is hiring and stuff? So yeah, I think right now it's still fine here. I don't know about Ashley.
Yeah, it's happening everywhere. I mean, actually, I'm sure you came across something like that, in the social media, where people came from wherever they came from in good books. I mean, I'm talking about marriages. Marriages are breaking in foreign lands. Marriages are breaking up. People came, and when they come here, they see other things. What is going on? I mean, you came with an agenda that you want to work or you want to study, but when you get to where you are now, then what changes?
I think it's when you lose focus, or as you say, you came with your own agenda and now you're focusing on other people. We must learn to focus on our own lives and just stay on our agenda and not look what's happening to our neighbors and all. But as Tendai said also, when people are busy, you don't have time to look like what's happening next door or what. But when you're not busy, so I think people need to be more busy also. And then with relationships, it could be maybe because of lack of guidance. When we are in our own communities, we have the relatives, the church leaders giving guidance when something goes wrong. But yeah, we're far away from home and we don't have that much of support. Maybe that's what's affecting relationships and marriages.
Promise? Do you want to add something on that?
Yeah. No, I want. Yeah, definitely. I think what just happens is life happens. Okay, life happens, guys. Yeah, and I think when people settle down, sometimes yes, there is that thing about settling into a community. But after you've settled down, then life really starts to happen. And when life happens, things change. And unfortunately, yes, in the diaspora, it's a little bit, the support structure is a little bit different from what you have back home. Back home we had a way of solving things. You have mbuyas, you have tetes to talk to and stuff like that. Here you don't have that, but guess what? That's what life here looks like. People stick to themselves, they mind their own business, you stay in your lane. If you can't fix things by the two of you, then you can't fix it. You can't expect somebody else to come in and intervene. And unfortunately, life out here is a little bit different. Our culture and our societal setup is different, so we just have to learn that and to accept how to resolve differences based on where we are, because the problems we're having are happening here in America. They're not happening in Zimbabwe. So we have to adapt to how to solve relationships here. And if you can solve them here, then
that's actually what's going to be my next point. I mean, how do we resolve this? I mean, we are here now. this is us. We living here. How do we resolve this? I mean, because it's happening every day. I'll go back to Shelton. How do we resolve these kind of things? I mean, they're keeping on happening as much as we talk about them, but what is the solution?
This is the problem we always find in the diaspora, because we don't have those family set up that we have back home. So we must try by all means to have an ability to find ourselves, to find each other whenever there's conflict or there's problems. We must also be able to relate well with those who become our friends and those whom we probably associate with through church, work, or other communities, because then those becomes structures that can also assist us in resolving problems such as these. Because if it were home, then there's Vanasekuru, then they are, Vanambuya, then there's your brothers and everyone to give you that support structure. But then you don't get to find such kind of a setup in the diaspora. And if you want to keep it to yourself so much, wanting to keep it to yourself, then you are prone to lose it and thereby do something that you would regret, and we end up having such kind of problems. So you need to really see the importance of creating a network of friends whom you trust with your personal issues and personal life. Create this kind of a network of people you associate with, maybe from work or church, because then those become your support structure in dealing with issues that would be beyond your control.
Thank you so much. Now, my other point is, now we're talking about empowering. How do we empower each other in these communities that we're living in now? I've noticed that it's kind of difficult, to support each other as migrants or wherever we're living away from home. It's difficult to support each other. You see a friend, you see someone from a different country than where they are coming from. They're struggling to give each other a helping hand, be it work or guidance. Is there something wrong with us? I mean, when we get to those countries where we are living in, we are not empowering each other. What's going on? Promise.
I think I think a few things that I can easily note is that my experience has been that so many other communities support each other way better than Zimbabwean communities do support each other. I think, I don't know if I speak for a lot of people, but I find other communities actually lending a hand to each other and supporting each other more than I have seen with my own people. And I don't know whether it's because we have this culture of zvangu zvaita bo, zvangu zvanaka, and I tend to think that we are Zimbabweans, we are much more selfish than other people that I've met, other Africans that I've met up there. Maybe I'm too hard on ourselves, but that's just what I have seen. So I think how to change that is to just have a realization that opportunities here are vast. I mean, the opportunities here are vast. You'll never be able to finish them. America, for example, is the idea of America is a marketplace. It's a marketplace. Whatever I am doing, if I have a gig of pressure washing, if I tell someone in Ohio how I'm doing and how I'm finding business, and there's no way they're gonna come to South Carolina and take my clientele.
Exactly. That's the thing. So why are we not sharing? Why are we not sharing the ideas? That's where I want to come in there. Why are we not sharing the idea? It's like someone, Tendai is working in Poland. She finds an opportunity and she can't be in 2-3 jobs. Someone is looking for a job, but she keeps it to herself. Why are we there like that, Tendai?
I don't know why why people are like that, because what Promise said, you can never finish opportunities. Maybe it's a mentality within us that you feel like, okay, so if I share this idea, probably somebody is gonna be a better person. But I like that Promise said that there is always opportunity. So I don't know if we can really if we can really solve it. I think it's just a process. You get to a point where you realize that, come on, if somebody needs help with getting the papers or whatever, I've done it, I know the process. You don't need to hire a lawyer, you can just do it on your own, because so I don't know if we can actually fix it, but I think it's like a process. When you get to a point that, okay, fine, we are just fighting for, a bottomless cup of water, which is gonna keep refilling
You
and
can't finish.
refilling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shelton, before you left, you left on empowering. That's what we continue with. I was asking these
Yes.
guys, why are we not be able to share? I mean, we know there's a lot of opportunities, but we tend not to share with each other. Why is it so? As people that are away from home, we should be able to be united in sharing each and everything that comes our way, but it's not
True.
happening. Why is it like that,
Yes.
Shelton?
You see, I'll come back again to the issue I raised about competition and wanting to outshine one another.
Yes.
And this is a very interesting aspect of this discussion that I like, because I am involved in humanitarian work here in South Africa, and I've seen these things happening, and I've been preaching about these things on all platforms that I address people on. Zimbabweans, you discover that they are selfish towards one another to some extent, in as far as empowering each other is concerned. If there is death that has happened in the diaspora, people unite. If there is sickness that has happened, people unite. If they are going to watch soccer, people unite. But if you were to say that somebody is not working and there is a job opportunity at wherever somebody is working at, and they want to bring, or they are asked to bring this person to their workplace, they are seldom reluctant to do so, because you discover that they will think that if I bring him here, you probably start to do better than I am. So that's the challenge that we face. There is a statement that says people wish you to do well, but they would never really want you to be better than them. So you meet them at various platforms in
That's
South
true,
Africa,
eh?
wherever you are. They will ask, yes. So you meet them wherever you meet, and they will tell you, you relate your challenge to them. They will say, okay, I know, really, we understand you. We pray that you find a job quickly, easily. And then you discover that the very same person has got a job opportunity, or the very same person knows what you are capable of doing in terms of maybe servicing or providing a certain service, but they cannot take you to provide that service, because they think, should I do that to you, you will end up, doing better than them. It is really a challenge that we have seen, and in the experience I've noticed in South Africa right now, you will discover that Zimbabweans, not really Zimbabweans, Africans per se, I didn't want to really mention Zimbabweans, but Africans per se, we think that certain nationalities are doing better than others. But I had an experience a few weeks ago when I met with a Malawian who came to my office saying that I'm coming from East London, I need to go to Humansville, but I don't have money for transport to go there, where I've been promised a job. So as I was speaking to this guy, then a certain old guy that I know, old man that I know from Malawi, who is a community leader even, I called him because he was passing through the corridors at my office, and I said, this is your fellow brother who is in a situation. Can you please kindly help, to give him a place where to put his head for tonight, and maybe assist him to go to humans the next day. This guy was so he did not want to help. He says to me that he is not in a position to assist because many people from his country are lying that they have issues. So the other thing that causes people not to be able to help
I think that is one
in
of
the
the
diaspora
challenges there, Shelton.
experiences people have
Sorry,
gone through
I
from our
cut you
very
off a
own
little bit.
people. You take someone, yes. So you take someone from yes, you take someone from a work to go to a workplace. This person starts to spy against you. This person steals, from the.
But they say it's not all the same. I mean, you need to give people opportunities. I would say someone was saying, Ashley, she finds out that there is a job opportunity or there is a business opportunity. The first thing that she does is she goes and read about the job, how much the person is gonna get, if it's a tender, how much the person is gonna get out of it, and then after that she weighs it and say, okay, this person, if the person gets this, this person is gonna be have a lot of money or a lot of these things or a lot of business than me, and then she keeps it to herself. Actually, why people are like that?
Okay, I just wanted
Yes,
to point out that not everyone is like that. I know most people are like that. I've met a lot of people that are really good. Maybe I've been in good circles, but yeah, it's important to point out that there is good people who refer people to jobs. I know of a few people who referred me to good jobs and a few people that I referred to good opportunities. So it's important to point out that there are still good people. But yes, true. People compare. It's the competition, like what Shelton said. It's the spirit of competition. Like, I wish you to do well, but you just mustn't do better than me. That kind of thing. But it's important to point out that there are good people. There are people that are referring others to job opportunities or business opportunities.
Oh well, well said there, Ashley. I'll go to my other point where I was just thinking when I was sitting here that how prepared are we in terms of something bad happens to us, be it death, be it a difficult situation. A person can lose a job and things doesn't go well. How are we prepared in dealing with these issues when they come, especially when it comes to death? I mean, we've seen a lot of people coming into these groups that we create wherever we are, saying, "No, we're looking for a hand. One of our friends passed away, or one of our friends is not working." How are we prepared? How are we doing it of wherever we are? Promise, how are we doing it in America in terms of being prepared of the difficult times to come, be it a death?
Hey man, that is one area which a lot of us have not done any preparation. I'm not prepared. I mean, I don't know who
This
is,
is
but
not preparing, eh?
I know that my wish would be, if I die, I wish I could be buried under the mango tree back in Rushinga, Mount Darwin, over there
Oh,
in my home. But to be honest with you, a lot of us are not prepared. I mean, we've unfortunately we have lost quite a few loved ones in the diaspora, but at the end of the day, it's a personal choice. I think the personal choice is, um, what where do I want to rest when I finally pass on, and what can I do? Um, in terms of a lot of families that are now in the diaspora, you find that it's a family of the whole family lives in the diaspora. Mother, father, all the children live here. Children have gotten married, they have kids here. So each family and each circumstance is different, because a family like that would rather say, you know what, I would rather be buried here, and I want my kids to come and lay flowers on my on my grave, or whatever. That family probably has no interest whatsoever in relocating to Zimbabwe to bury someone. Then there's some people also that might be by themselves and that might say, you know what, I would rather, if I pass on, I would rather, lay to rest in my village among my people. And so I think it's quite individual choices. I think the only thing we just have to do is to just have the knowledge to say, this is what I want, and open up and have the frank conversations, because we don't want to talk about death. I mean, I don't want to talk about death.
I know we don't want to talk about it. I mean, but it's real.
Yeah, it's real. We have to open up and start to have those kind of conversations. Yes.
Yeah. Did I okay, maybe I have to rephrase a little bit of my question. Why are we not preparing ourselves for this? I mean, for these significant events or death when they come? Why are we not preparing? Because we know this thing comes, or we know that tomorrow, I mean, it doesn't, it's not going to be sunshine every day. There's going to be, something that comes up. Why are we not preparing?
I think it's something which is just natural for people to be planning the future and not thinking about death, like Promise said. It's difficult. It's easy to plan about your successes, what you want to do, or what you're planning in 5 years, but it's not comfortable to be talking about death. But at the same time, it's something that we need to prepare for, especially living so far away from home. I think, though, that, this is my opinion. I feel like if I'm living here right now, I might as well prepare myself to be like take a policy or something that will bury me here. Not that this is what I want or I don't love my home country, but it's not, I feel like it's a bit unfair for people to run around for you when you're gone.
Yes, it is. It is unfair.
We've seen so many GoFundMe pages. No offense, but I'm just mentioning that it's important to say you prepare yourself to be buried where you are, and if possible, also have, something in place. We don't think about this, but I feel, and I like that we're having this conversation, which gives us this ability to start thinking about this, like, okay, what exactly is my plan when these things happen? Because most of the families grieving the loss of a loved one and also thinking, oh, what do we do with bills and stuff? So I feel like it's important to strike a balance there.
Yeah, and the third part is, each and every day we make some money, not a lot, or we make some money and we spend the money, and we don't think, or we don't talk about these things in our families. Yet someone who's gonna stay behind is gonna carry all this burden. Actually, why are we not preparing about these things? I mean, yet we know these things comes, and we know at some point we make some money and we can put something aside, or we can do something. Why are we so reluctant as if everything is going to be rosy?
I think it's also because of our culture. It's almost like taboo talking about death. Like when you die, I remember when I was younger, I used to think, how can you, life insurance, how can you put away money so that when your husband dies, you're going to, it's almost like taboo, but we must understand death is natural. We're all going to die. So it makes sense to prepare for it, because you have to think about your children, you have to think about the people that are staying after you're gone. So it's almost selfish to not think about that, not plan ahead. It's almost selfish. But I think it's mostly because of our culture.
Yeah. Shelton, you don't do the planning for the future because you think maybe one day you're gonna be, you're gonna be somewhere else, or you're gonna go back or something. Why are you not preparing for your future? And why do you want to give the people that are gonna stay behind you? Why do you want to give them so much burden?
I actually do, I actually plan for the future and knowing that very, very soon, or one day or the other, yes, I am going to die. I have been on several occasions in various platforms encouraging our people to invest in a funeral policy. Yes, it is true that whenever one dies, you get to have Mago funds, you get to have people coming to source for funds in various groups and all. But it's important to have a funeral policy and know that death is real and death is going to happen one day. And if you want to be either buried wherever you are or buried back home, there's need for money for you to get to be buried. You cannot rely on your family's money or friends' money, because I've heard people who say that at the end of the day, no one is going to leave me lying in the mortuary. It is a very wrong perception. It is a very wrong thinking. Let's invest in funeral policies. I have told myself that for as long as I can still afford to pay a full bouquet of DSTV, 650, 850 rands, then I can be able to afford 79 rands for myself, my wife, and my 2 kids with Zororo Pumlani policy. And this is a call to everyone in the diaspora to say, let's not have misplaced priorities. Death is real. If you don't want to take a funeral policy, then invest in a life insurance, which also covers a funeral, which is a funeral cover. Do a life insurance, which is a life cover, and prepare yourself for this unfortunate unfortunate reality. And if I can just conclude by saying that in South Africa or many countries in the diaspora, there are so many plans that are favorable, that you can invest in and prepare yourself for that. And not only should you prepare for a funeral policy, prepare yourself for where you are going to go to in that coffin. You don't want to, when you die, you go back and, they pitch a tent. That Shellers was in South Africa for 10 years. But he didn't have a house, or he's been in America for 20 years, but he is back. Let's just pitch a tent. Prepare yourself for where you are going to have a dignified send-off before they take you to your burial place. That is my submission.
That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful there, Shelton. Thank you so much for that. I was going to say, someone was just writing that, how can we prepare for these things, yet we are still looking after the people that are still back in our home countries. It's kind of difficult. So what I'm going to do now, because we don't have much time, I'm just going to give each other maybe a minute for your parting shots. What is your message to the other people out there, to the people in the diaspora? What is your message? What is your encouragement? I'll start with Paul in America. What is your message to other people in the diaspora?
I think my message is that let's all realize when we arrive in the diaspora and we settle down that we have a life now. Sometimes the mistake that I have made, or that a lot of friends around me have made, is we're in the diaspora and you work like there's no tomorrow, and you don't even get to enjoy the place where you are, because it's almost like you think it's temporal, and then after 20 years you realize no, it's not temporal. So let's take some time, smell the roses, smell the coffee. This is life. There's no other life that we're going to live. Sometimes we think, I'm going to go back and live my life in Zimbabwe. No, you're living your life here now. So, if you have to buy a house and live your life, because this is now where your life is, and assimilate, be part of a community, because you are going to realize that you're living a very solitary life. You don't even have a community to live by, because every minute you think your community is just in Zimbabwe on WhatsApp, but no, you have a life here, and start to live your life and enjoy your life.
All right, thank you so much.
Most importantly, one thing I wanted to say is always look for opportunities.
Oh yes, thank you so much for that. Tendai, your parting shot.
Okay, so My words would be living in the diaspora is hard. You work a lot, you do everything, and you have family at home. But the most important thing I realized, you need to set yourself up where you are and understand that you are in a better position of helping people back home when you are comfortable and when you are living, when you have a good job, when you position yourself. Because I see a lot of people, they're failing to like settle because they think, oh, I need to send this, I need to do this, I need to do that. It's important to position yourself in that, because in the country you live in and in that environment, because most probably you are going to be there for 10, 20 years. You wake up 20 years later and be thinking, oh, why didn't I just get a house
Yeah,
like what
misplaced. Yeah.
Promise
Yeah.
said. And then it's also important to know that you can do it also. If other people can do it, then you can do it also. Sometimes we hold back thinking, I'm like this, I'm coming from a background like that. I feel it's not good to be withholding ourselves when there's opportunities. You just need to know that you can do it, you can go wherever you are. And I like traveling a lot. I have a bucket list. I'm ticking off each and every country that I want to do. I learned to do the things that make me happy when I have the chance, not to kind of like, wait for another life that is going to come. This is the life that I'm living. I need to make the most of it now. So yeah, those are my words.
Oh, thank you so much. And it was a mouthful, but thank you. I know it's your hope. One person out there. Ashley, your parting shots, your message to the people in diaspora.
Same as Tendai and Paul said, grow where you are. That's home. It's not back where your real home is. Where you are now, that's home. Establish a good network, build relationships, because you're going to need it. You're going to need the support.
Yeah.
And also research. There's opportunities here. It's different from home. So we have to realize if this doesn't work, there's always a lot of other opportunities. You just need to research. And another thing that I want to say is, like they say, life is not a journey. We say it's a journey. It's not really a journey because we're not going to arrive. It's now. Life is now. So if you're waiting to
Yeah. Wow.
arrive, you only arrive when you die. So live your life now. That's all.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Shorten your parting shots. 1 minute.
All right. Thank you. Mine would be living in the diaspora is not easy, but I want to call upon everyone who is in the diaspora to unite. Let's unite. Let's get away with being selfish. We need to realize that we are one people. They might not be related to you because of blood or by surname or from where you come from. But for as long as we are foreign nationals living in the foreign land, in the diaspora, then we need to be there for one another and we need to get away with selfishness. One other thing that I want to encourage everybody out there is that apart from the people from your own country whom you want to have a connection and a network with, don't hesitate to approach local authorities in places where you are living. They've got programs that are meant for foreign nationals as well. So don't hesitate to know your local councillor, your local member of parliament. Don't hesitate to approach the, government offices and seek, clarity on things that you need assistance on. You discover that they would also be in a position to assist you. So don't think that because your stationery is not in order, so you can't go and approach maybe a councillor, or if you know of a member of parliament or someone. I've discovered that these people can assist you. In the experience I've had in humanitarian work, I've learned not to hesitate to knock on doors of local authorities, and we have discovered there are actually policies meant for foreign nationals living in a particular area or particular country. So I want to call upon everyone not to be hesitant. Make use of various organizations also around you where your people where people meet, and make use of various communities that you are staying around with. Find out if one is not well. See how best you can assist each other, and let's be united and be one people.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Paul. Life is not a journey. Life is now. We need to live the best we can wherever we are. Let's do the best we can as people in diaspora. let's live life. And also, let's look out for others, that comes from different countries. Thank you so much, guys, for being with us tonight. Thank you so much for engaging with us. I really appreciate your time. We thank you. Thank you to the viewers who have been watching. I thank you, Ashley. I thank you, Tendai. I thank you, Promise and Shelton. It was great having you on the panel. Hopefully, sometime we'll have you again in season 2. This was the closing of season 1. And we say thank you so much for the support, and thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you.